family, Madam Division Director, Madam Area Director, thank you guys for making it out here, and our honored guests. Must not forget the honored guests.
Thank you.
Last week, while I was up here giving my 10th speech, I spoke to you guys about my very selfish year, my very successful year. And did I plan on giving 2 or 3 speeches within 2 weeks? No, but I hoiked my original idea for this speech and decided it would be the perfect time to plug in for goal setting and planning. How are you guys going to have a successful year? A goal is defined as a noun, the object of which a person's ambition or effort, and aim or desired result. So, what do you want to do? Plan is also defined as a noun, a detailed proposal of doing or achieving something. So, how are you going to do it? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? This should be the main thing that everybody wakes up and thinks about. Simple goals such as getting to work. My goal is to get to work on time. How are you going to do it? I'm going to leave the house within a timely manner. Characteristics of a goal, and this one I actually took right from the outline, is be specific. State it. What is it? Getting to work on time. Measurable. Is it measurable? Can it be done within a timely manner? Action-oriented. It's something that you state. I'm going to get to work on time. Realistic. Is this a realistic goal? I'm going to get to work on time or early every day through the year. Is that realistic? Maybe not. Stuff happens. But I'm going to do it today. That is very realistic. That is measurable. Time-bounded. When are you going to do it? Today. Implementing the goals. How do you get the ball rolling on this? Get involved, write it out, make a path, refine and refocus. Now, this might not apply to something such as getting to work, but how about your Toastmaster goals? I want to finish my CL within the next 6 months to a year. I told you guys I did it, so obviously it's a little bit realistic. So how? Get involved. What do I need to do in order to complete this? What objects can I do? Sean, is there anything that I can do to help out at next week's meeting? Alicia, is there another sort of drive or maybe speech-a-thon that we're doing that I can help with? These are simple things that can help you mark off projects in your CL, thus working towards your goal of completing your competent leadership manual. Making a path. Now, some of you may have noticed, some of you may not have noticed on our lovely Toast host, I try to get those agendas up and posted and ready for you to sign up for your roles as soon as possible. Some people, as I've noticed, because I get those little emails, go in there and plan out over the next month to 2 months of what they want to do. I saw that we've had Roderick sign up for his icebreaker. I've seen Alicia sign up for Toastmaster and Table Topics Master because she's looking to get her stuff done too. They've made a path. They've taken that first step to finish their goal. Refine and refocus. What happens if you get sick and you can't make a meeting? Or maybe our meeting's a little too jam-packed, so you can't achieve your goal of writing off Table Topics Mastery. It's time to refine and refocus. What is the next step? How can I still achieve this as soon as possible? So we need a plan in order to get to our goals. How do you do the plan? That is an autocorrect thing. Refine and refocus is supposed to be right there. Prepare for what may come. Keep on track. No waste. A example of a bad goal or a bad plan, and it's because I just watched this last night, is Jurassic Park. What was Hammond's ultimate goal? To create an amusement park that had dinosaurs. What was his plan? Make the dinosaurs and get people on the island. Seems a little unrealistic. The time's not there. Everything that we've just gone over, he's kind of pushed off to the side. And he didn't plan for things to go wrong. He didn't make that alternate plan. So prepare for what may come. He didn't do that. And what happened? Everybody got eaten. When stuff hit the fan, he didn't keep on track, and ultimately it was a waste. So how can you avoid this? Well, when you plan on opening your dinosaur amusement park, have the backup plan for what happens when the security systems go down. Have that backup plan for when this stuff does hit the fan. And keep on track. Make sure that there isn't somebody that is looking to steal some of your dinosaur embryos. And ultimately, this will make sure that you are not wasting any product or anyone's time. Can I take on the sword? Can we go? No? Maybe? Aha! 5 points of a plan. I modified this a little bit from what they have in theirs for 5 steps to planning. What are you trying to do? This is important. If you can't clearly define what you're trying to do, whether it's completing your CL or opening up your amusement park, you're not going to have much of a way to go. You're not going to develop a path to your goal. So, what are you trying to do? When are you trying to do it by? Again, set yourself a time frame. I would like to do this by the end of this week, of this month, of this year. Keep that in track and hold yourself accountable to it. Share it with friends. When you become involved within a committee, within Toastmasters, or a committee within work, who holds you accountable? Besides yourself, it's your teammates. They know what you're supposed to be doing as well. And this will just reinforce your drive to complete your goal. Who is going to be involved? Your team, like I just said. Your Toastmaster family, your work family, your dinosaur family. What if XYZ happens? Well, that little rascal Nedry is not going to hack the system. I'm prepared for that. If I get sick, well, I'll let the nearest Toastmaster know that I won't be able to make it, and I will reschedule when I want to be a table topics master, when I want to give my next speech, so that way I can complete my goal. And this one, I took this quote. Everybody, if you haven't heard this quote, I'm happy to share it with you now. No plan survives first contact with the enemy, which means you can have a great plan going. You could sat there, you could have been working on it for hours, but the second you implement it, things might go sideways. And the best action sometimes is a reaction at that point. What are you going to do to still meet your goal? Keynote, don't sit behind the podium. This, if some of you guys haven't seen it, I'm hoping everybody's seen it. It's in the back of your manual. This is the education program for Toastmasters. Ultimately, everyone's goal might be somewhere around this area to get your distinguished Toastmasters, get that rocking button at one of the conferences. But just saying that you're going to get your DTM is a little unrealistic, right? I mean, Robin, you didn't roll out of bed this morning and be like, I'm going to get my DTM today. But what is more realistic? Well, let's take a look at this side. Granted, it's at the starting point, but everybody's got to start somewhere, right? Your competent communicator and your competent leadership. More realistic goal, like I said, getting that within the next 6 months or a year. That is totally plausible. You can come in here. We meet 4 times a month. That's 4 functionary roles right there. Totally plausible. And you work on this, and then you move to the next. Advanced Communicator Bronze. You guys have already heard one speech from me. And like I said, I've only been doing this for a year. If I can do it, I know everybody else here can do it, because I'm a slacker. But you can keep trucking, you can keep moving, and by setting up these mini goals by placing these within your plan, you will ultimately reach your final goal, to become a distinguished Toastmaster, or to open up your dinosaur amusement park. Now, I'm losing the clicker. It's because I didn't have it in a nice electric paddock. My mouse wrangler is sleeping on the job. I need a backup plan. Now, within Toastmasters, you see this, you see your personal goals. But we also have, if this one's way up, our club goals, which there should be a handout in front of all of you that looks very much like this. I pulled this off of the Toastmaster International site just yesterday and printed it off. These are our goals for the club. This is what we've already reached starting in July. This is how successful we've been in getting up and every day and saying, I will do this, I will do that. I plan on doing my CC within the next couple months. I plan on completing this. And one thing that Spice It Up always does is we always shoot for the moon. Aim for the stars, shoot for the moon. We want Presidents Distinguished. So that means that we are required to meet 9 of our goals. So far we've reached 5, which is great, it's distinguished. How many other clubs can say that they have done this within such a short amount of time? Some might say it's unrealistic, but we at Spice It Up say it's a piece of cake. You betcha. And so, what can you do to help the club meet their goals? Well, obviously, this isn't going to be posted at every meeting. I hope that you guys take this handout and pin it up in your cube and be like, what can I do to make these numbers shine, make these zeros disappear? Well, over here, you may have noticed that we have this posted every meeting. It is our DCP goal tracker. And some of you might see that your name's on it, whether it be under our new membership, or we're holding you accountable to get your CC done. I'm looking at you, Sean. Or we're relying on you to finish your advanced communicator gold, Angel, to help us mark these off and become Presidents Distinguished. And ultimately, because I believe it's 3 years in a row when you've become distinguished, you become legacy. Legacy. That word in and of itself is huge. And trust me, when you finally decide that you're ready to step up and become an officer, and you go to TLI training or you go to a conference, you get recognized for that. And it turns heads. I didn't believe it until I went to TLI this last July, and how did you guys get distinguished? You're a closed club. We're Spice It Up Toastmasters. This is a piece of cake. But ultimately, in order to reach these, like I said, you need to have the goals. How are you going to do it? You need your plan. Plan setting and goals is such a prominent thing in order for you to both achieve your personal, your work-related, and your Toastmaster career. And yes, I just used life career in a sense. But there's always this great feeling, and I'm losing the clicker again, when a plan comes together. Thank you.